Here's your introduction to painting basics. We have some supplies here, some paper, pencil, marker, paint brushes, and I'm going to be showing you how to paint with these tempera cakes. These are a solid kind of paint that you have to put water on to get the paint to become a liquid. Different types of brushes here. I have a really thick, coarse, bristly one, a smaller square head brush, a softer one, and then a fine tip brush. They're all going to make different types of marks. You're also going to need a paper towel, and then you'll have a tray of water. You'll see one side has a sponge in it, and the other side is going to be clean water. I'll show you guys how to clean your water or how to clean your paintbrushes in a little bit when we get started. So like I said, starting out, you're going to have to get water onto these tempera cakes in order to use them. So one way to do this is to take water and to rub it directly onto the brush. You can also use these big brushes and kind of drip the big water onto the cakes if you don't want to get your brush dirty. But once you have the water on there, you just mix it around to really get the colors nice and liquid. Once you have the paintbrush saturated, then you're going to move on to your paper. Really take time to explore these different paintbrushes and to see what they do and what different marks they can make. So when you're going to clean your paintbrush, you only put the dirty brush into one side. We're going to use the bigger side for this, and you can loosen some of the paint off of the brush by moving it around in the water, pushing it on the bottom, and then wiping it on the sponge. This is going to help your brush get very clean. After you think you have most of the paint off, you're going to use your paper towel to dab the paintbrush onto. This is going to help to get off any excess paint and any of that dirty water as well. Once you have it nice and clean, then you can dip it back into the clean water to pick a new color. So the more mixing on the cake, the more color that you're going to get out. It can be thin, it can be thick. It all just depends on how much water and how much paint you're actually mixing. And with some of the tempera colors, they're going to go on kind of thin. And if you add colors back on top, then it'll make it more opaque and you won't be able to see through. And naturally, the less paint that you have on your brush, the less color that is going to show through. Or I'm sorry, the more color that is going to show through. You can see I'm doing a layering technique where I'm going back on and I want the colors darker, so I'm adding more color on top. But you can see that bottom squiggle is kind of see-through. Cleaning my paintbrush again. Remember, we're keeping the dirty paint in the dirty side. If you make a mistake, you'll see later in the video, I accidentally did it. But if you accidentally put your paintbrush into the clean side, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You can just dump it out and get new water. These big paintbrushes, they really hold on to the paint in the bristles. You'll kind of see it still looks like there's paint in there, but there's actually not. It's just dyed some of the bristles green. And going in with my clean water, and now I'm going to experiment with black. Just looking to see all of the different kinds of marks that I can make here. With these tempera cakes, the paints mix really easily. Like if we were to do just like a normal Crayola washable paint, they wouldn't mix as easy, but tempera is great for mixing. And if you do end up getting some of the colors mixed on your palette, on your little tray there, the tray is called a palette that holds your paints, then you can always dab it with a paper towel to get any of the colors that are mixed off. Like if you got blue onto yellow or something like that, you just wipe it right off the paint. You can use your lid that you have for your painting container too to mix colors. Here I'm trying to make some purple. And I just used two different paint brushes, one in the blue and one in the red, and then mixed them on the tray. Again, using that clean water to get new colors. And here I'm kind of showing you how easily the tempera colors will mix together. Unfortunately, when they do mix, like especially if you're using black, they can look a little muddy. Let's move on to cleaning our paintbrushes at the end of class. You're going to bring your supplies over to the sink and you're going to start by rinsing out your paintbrushes. You can see I'm rinsing the bristles or the tip of the paintbrush underneath the water until the water runs clear. You should have no colors coming out, and then I'm rubbing it on my hand to really make sure all of those colors out. Make sure you wipe off the metal part of the paintbrush as well, because that's just as important. Then I want you to dump your water to squeeze out your sponge and to get out as much paint from your sponge as you can. Then you're going to rinse your container and wipe out the edges to get any excess paint off. And then once you've done that, I want you to wipe off any water on the paintbrushes and to squeeze it out and put them tip up or bristles up back into the cup.